still awake, and the best panel is here for you. So this is where we get to do the fun part, which is actually, you're going to find out applications or what are some ways to engage kids in the cybersecurity fields, in the cybersecurity thoughts, and how do you get them even considering ideas around cybersecurity. So we've got some terrific individuals and initiatives to share with you. We have 3. We're missing our NIST Michael, but I'm sure he'll come running in after he realizes we're not at sea and, finds his way through the halls. So we've got Ryan.
Hello.
Corey.
Hello.
And he's going to share with you what's going on with Cybrary. And we've got George Heron, who is with Life Journey, and he'll share with you some ideas. And then when Mike Rocha gets in, we'll... So did you want to go first? Ryan?
Up to you.
Go ahead and take it. Yeah, you're set up there.
You're set up. Great.
I'm all set up. We can,
So if you'll start by giving us a little background,
sure.
like a little bit about your company, what you're doing, and then your overall goal. So what you hope to obtain.
Sure. Hi, everybody, and thanks for sticking in here to the end of the day. Again, my name is George Heron, and I'm with Life Journey. And what Life Journey is, does anybody know what Life Journey is? Because there was a presentation earlier today. Okay, great. 2, 3, 4. So you, 6. Looks like a number of you do. For those that don't, Life Journey is an online experience for students in the classroom that allows them to do career exploration and discovery, and ultimately finding out what they would like to be doing with their life, what they would like to be heading their career for. What we do is we take the Peyton Mannings of different companies, the rock star employees, and we turn them into a mentor. And that's actually what I'm going to be speaking to about here today, is the mentoring system that's built into Life Journey. And the students then are able to select. It's kind of like a career day in a box, if you will, in a cloud. And the students are able to select different kinds of careers that they want in order to follow, to find out what it would be like to be a digital forensic analyst, maybe at Lockheed Martin, or a network security operator at BAE. There are so many open jobs in cyber, as you well know, in cyber and cybersecurity, that the job market is really lucrative, but we don't have enough students in the pipeline. In Maryland alone, we've got like 20,000 jobs alone that are open in cybersecurity but cannot be filled. We just don't have enough students following the STEM career path in high school and college. So what Life Journey is a way to help inspire students to be following a STEM career. And what we do is we take these mentors, these real live mentors in different companies, and then we present them to the students and allow the students to understand the soft skills, the hard skills, the tools that are used in different scenarios for them. And then ultimately say, wow, I want to really be like Kathy at Lockheed Martin. If I can, and if this all works in a moment, I'll show you an example of how the students interface with Kathy in their experience. What they do in the classroom, it's the first introduction to Life Journey is a classroom experience. The students are able to self-explore and select 3 different journeys on their own that they wish. And then thereafter, the teacher, who has a lot of different resources and such that we provide them into Life Journey Cloud, is able to guide the student relative to further exercises, further activities, online fun, we don't say games in high school, but online experiences that are educational in nature. So these games, like the NSA Crypto Challenge is a good one. Has anybody heard of the Crypto Challenge online? It's kind of fun, and it's enjoyable, and the students are able to kind of learn some different skills as far as how to persevere through some different puzzles online. And there are other activities that we've designed to complement what the teacher really is teaching in class. Because how often have you gone to, if you can remember back that far, some of us can't, is that, you're learning math or geometry, and it's just not an exciting topic, and the students are sitting there like this, or why do I have to learn, Pythagorean's theorem, right? So ultimately, Life Journey augments the teacher's teaching experience, and he or she are able to use these experiences in the classroom for the students to amplify the Pythagorean theorem and useful examples of how that is used out in industry. So what I wanted to do just in the few minutes that we have to set the stage is to show you that we indeed take the mentor, and this again is Kathy, she's a real live employee out at Lockheed Martin. We encapsulate her into the mentor management system of LifeJourney. And we do this for lots and lots of different partners that we have in industry, in the software industry. And then we represent Kathy's skills, her own educational path that she took, and then ultimately, you know, how she became, in this case, a data scientist, actually, is what Kathy is. And I'll show you a little bit of the interactive video that Kathy, that the students are able to see for Kathy. But that interaction with the mentor is really part of the what we call ideation, the process of getting ideas, I guess. The ideation experience where students all over classrooms in the US, we're getting pretty widespread throughout the US and especially now in Australia. Education systems and public and private schools are adopting LifeJourney, and is sponsored by the larger companies that are represented in the LifeJourney, in the juries of LifeJourney. They're able to, the students are able to experience the product right there in the classroom, and then on a regular basis thereafter, the teacher's able to kind of weave it into the time allocation. Students can do it online at home, on tablets, and just continue the experience. So, what I wanted to show sorry for the pause here. Okay, since this is a little bit of a nature of kind of like what teachers can use, the session is about what teachers can use as far as online and other types of inspirational types of experiences for students, is that we have the instructor dashboard in which they are able to really kind of monitor all the different students' progress through the LifeJourney tool, but then also go over to the journeys, and I want to select the Lockheed Martin journey, which is data scientist, and up pops the journey sheet. And all of these are online types of activities and information that the student is able to, at the teacher's direction, go through and either research, click on different activities that Kathy is recommending, and information is always being downloaded to the student's dashboard, such that real-time in nature, the single mentor is able to interface with lots and lots of students throughout, you know, the entire LifeJourney cloud. Mentoring is always a tough part, one-on-one type of interaction that you can't get beyond maybe 5 or 6 before the mentor gets tapped out. So mentoring at scale is a challenge and one of the features of LifeJourney, and that's what's made it so popular in many of the high schools and two-year colleges especially. So what I'm going to do, if we have sound too, is show you the trailer. Each of the journeys is composed of a number of very short video segments, and then that set the stage, and students able to see the initial view of a data scientist in this case, and then further do some interactive Q&A and role-playing with that mentor from the system. Let's see if this works. The sound is not turned on, so.
I can hear a little bit, but I don't think there's enough.
Hi, I'm Kathy Wise, I'm a data scientist at Lockheed.
Probably not.
Lockheed is a global technology, aerospace, and security company. We employ about 120,000 people, and every day we tackle some of the most complex challenges facing our nation and the world. As a data scientist, it's my job to take complex data and turn it into actionable information. To do this, I use a variety of software and analytic tools. I need to have a strong command of math and logic, particularly statistics and probability. And I need computer science skills to work with big and challenging data sets. But sometimes the hardest part of the job is interpreting the results. So I draw on my creativity and on my communication skills to represent my findings in a way that people can understand. My days generally include working with large sets of challenging data, creating algorithms and models, and then collaborating with teammates to use the results in larger programs and systems. Data science is an exciting new field that is evolving every day and becoming more and more important in the vital workings of commerce, infrastructure, and even entertainment. It's great to be on the cutting edge of technology, and I'm constantly learning new things. It also means that this is a growing career path that's going to become increasingly essential for parts of to the government and the business community. As you progress through this life journey, you're going to learn about how to unlock data from the world around you, how to make sense out of complexity, and how data influences the way that we live. I'm Kathy Wise with Lockheed Martin, and I'll be your life journey mentor as you take command on a path to becoming a data scientist. Welcome to my journey. Let's get started and figure out where the data is leading us.
So this is just the initial video that the students are able to get a flavor for what this particular journey, i.e. career, is. And then through subsequent interaction, they get a chance to explore interactively with Kathy as far as like what skills she has, how she got her skills, what her favorite courses were, what her hobbies are, what her habits are at work, you know, typical tools that are used, all different kinds of information about a given journey. And then the teacher is presented with tools that enable her or him to really augment the material, like I said, with learning some geometry-based school. So bringing some of the sometimes boring or the foundation skills in math and science and to life by real-life examples is where this comes from. So just to kind of, I'll turn it over in just a moment here, but just the last item is that we're about ready to launch with the NSA, what's called the NSA Day of Cyber. Do you probably remember the Day of Code that happened last year? All throughout the U.S. there were high schools that were urged, and many did, have their students take 1 hour out of the day and do some coding, so getting students to code. Well, here's an initiative by the NSA for an NSA Day of Cyber. So the NSA has contributed 6 journeys that are typically used, that are typical journeys in the NSA. We've constructed journeys around each of those, where again, the students are able to interact with each one of those mentors, and the mentors are able to follow and actually inspire the students, hopefully to stay in STEM, ultimately to graduate into cyber careers, and hopefully to, in the case of the NSA, find jobs within the NSA when they graduate. But that is, there was a logo that I was going to show, but it's the Day of Cyber. It's going to be announced in the upcoming Cyber Maryland later this month, and then out at the NICE conference in California.
Can anyone access that
Yes.
website?
Yes, it's fully sponsored by the NSA, and anybody, you can sign up. You can go to the NSA Day of Cyber website, NSA I'll dig it up here and make sure that I have it, NSA Day of Cyber I think it's .com. And then you'll be prompted just to kind of pre-register, and then you too can run this journey. Even better yet, you can run it with your children. You can urge your school teachers to run it in the classroom. So is that online?
Unlimited capacity for that?
There is unlimited capacity.
Oh.
So it's
Unlimited
We've
capacity.
heard that.
like,
We've
you know,
heard that before.
tons of people, students all over the country can register. That's what they want.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, there's some 40 million high schoolers in the U.S., and I don't know the number yet for Australia, but I should, and soon will. But there's a lot of students, so we've constructed the cloud using Amazon Web Services in order to really be extensible. Not a problem.
That's cool.
It is very cool.
Yeah, it is.
Thank
It's a great initiative.
Do you recommend this only for high school students, or do you think middle school students could handle
Middle school?
any of this?
That's a great question, which was how young can the students be? But ultimately, we start at 8th grade and go up. So age 13 is kind of a breakover point for PII, personally identifiable information, that you have to be really careful going below that. So we're constructing this in a manner that soon will have, you can go even lower than. Because students of any age essentially can, you know, it depends on how deep they go as far as superficial or more in-depth understanding of things. But typically from 8th grade, certainly up into college, because that's where career research and, you know, where you're going to go to college kind of kicks in. And then in college, I wish I had something like this when I went through my first 2 years of college before wasting money, before finding out that I ultimately wanted to be a software engineer. But that's a great question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very cool. IMD. Plug this into this.com. There we go. That's better. So my name is Ryan Corey. I'm the co-founder of this company called Cybrary.
And Cybrary is very similar to, I think we referenced Code Academy, right? So Cybrary is doing the same thing for cybersecurity. We're making it free and open to everybody, everywhere. And we launched in January, and just to kind of prove our credibility that people do like our product, we are growing faster. We've grown in our first 8 months faster than what Facebook and LinkedIn grew in their first 8 months. Granted, okay, it's 2015, and but I'll take that. I like that number. But yeah, so we generally have about 1,500 people register per day and start learning on Cybrary. And so I know that the title of this event, or this discussion, was online cybersecurity resources. We started Cybrary because we realized, one, that the cybersecurity training industry was a really screwed up industry. It holds a lot of people back from doing well. You referenced 20,000 unfilled jobs in Maryland. It's pathetic. I mean, there are too many people who aren't working right now, and it's simply because they don't have the skill sets. There's 200,000 unfilled jobs in America in cybersecurity. So the industry is messed up because people like myself used to partake in charging people $3,000 to $5,000 for a cybersecurity training class that was 1 week long. So not only did this not allow resources to get into the hands of students in their early days, the K through 12, and then even into high school, or I'm sorry, to college and so on, well beyond college. It was just something that a lot of people, just a barrier to entry that a lot of people couldn't overcome. But you have that fact, and you also have the fact that there are a lot of great learning resources on the internet for cybersecurity. So if you go here, you're going to find a long list and a continually growing list of, from entry level, anything that one would need to know to get into cybersecurity classes, they're here, to very advanced, and that list keeps expanding. So entry level, you guys have probably heard over and over again, A+ certification. I don't know the audience necessarily, but if you're teaching like in high school, you want them to get A+ certified, Security Plus certified. Those classes are on here. Leadership courses like CISSP, advanced classes like advanced penetration testing, Python for security professionals. It's all on here. So the internet had a large presence, or the internet had everything that one would need to know about cybersecurity. To do well in a cybersecurity career, it's all out there. It's all over YouTube. It's all over dozens of, or hundreds of thousands of blogs. All the resources are out there, but no one had really done a good job of compiling things into one place. So it's free. It's out there. You just need to know, what to learn. So that's why we did, what we're doing here with Cybrary. And I'll mention a few other resources that I think are great for students that they should be checking out, especially if you have some very aspiring students who want to get their hands dirty in cybersecurity. There are a few resources that I'll mention in just a second. But you look at I look back at the graduate studies that I did in marketing. I'm a marketing professional. And knowing what I know now, I learned a lot of marketing through experience for the most part. And everything that if I look back at all those old books, Boston University, Masters of Marketing, all those old books, all of that stuff I could have learned somewhere on someone's blog, a business blog or something like that. It's all out there. And you have to pay that huge amount of money for that big degree, or for that degree, whatever, and those classes. And it's just the fact that it wasn't compiled on the internet. So our strong belief is that everything should be free and open, and everything learning, education-based, should be free and open. And I think it's a lot of things are trending in that direction right now, especially when you see Code Academy doing 25 million registered users. People are studying code there all the time. So Cybrary, I think, is a great resource right now. I think you'll see other things like that out there. I know that there are things in the realm of Microsoft has their Microsoft Virtual Academy, where you can learn Microsoft Systems Administration courses for the most part. They are for free. Anybody can go there and register. But some cybersecurity resources that are really, really helpful for the students that are charging ahead, that are doing a great job with absorbing the content that you're giving them, and they want more and more and more. Besides Cybrary, you have things like overthewire.org, pentesterlab.com, and hackthisite.org. Everyone knows the Hack This Site, right? So those are basically cyber ranges online. So you hop on and you're presented with challenges, and you pass different levels of challenges. And so if you go in and you can't get past one of the levels, then you would go and you would learn about the obstacles that are in place there. And you could do that, you know, ostensibly on like Cybrary or something like that, or you could read a blog post. So I would highly recommend those resources. I mean, if they're there, they're free, anybody can get on. So yeah. Oh, one other thing I want to say. Probably a lot of you folks out there are like me, where I'm addicted to podcasting. I love podcasts. I drive a lot. I live in Ellicott City. I work in Greenbelt, so a couple hours in the car every day. There are a few podcasts that I'll recommend to basically students of all ages. So their content is clean enough to where I'd send my 9-year-old there. CyDeaf is the first one. CYDEFE is a podcast that's just fantastic. It's actually a very good podcast for people who, for anybody, if you wanted to basically empower your teen or your husband or wife with the things that they should know and not know about internet safety, and things like that. That podcast is probably the best for that. You just look through their playlist or their list of episodes, and you'll find things in there just to cover like kind of the home and family aspect of things. CyDeaf, a little bit older crowd, is Risky Business, but really good for folks who are technical. And then Breaking Security is another. So I just wanted to plug those guys. Because I think that they're terrific resources. And they're free, as long as you have like the podcast app, which is free. So that's all I had to say about Cybrary and our stuff.
Super. Did you want to show us a sample of anything that's in this Cybrary?
Sure, we can do that. Does anybody here have certifications in cybersecurity? I think it's mainly you do? I know you do. Okay, so you've potentially been through the ringer on some cert and non-cert stuff. So we have certification-based classes, A+, Linux Plus. I mean, if starting students out in the high school level, that's where they're going to want to look. A+, Network Plus, Security Plus here, and again, the things that fall under systems administration and network administration, those are topics that are really they pertain to going further in cybersecurity. So that's why we have them there. So there are things that you may cover in, let's say, a malware analysis class that you would need to kind of it's assumed knowledge, and that comes from those other classes there. So we're doing this kind of for the entire planet, developing nation and all that kind of stuff. We wanted to put a full spectrum. If you want to get into cybersecurity, you can start here, you can finish here. But just an example of how this stuff works. Let's go to the topic du jour, the ethical hacking course. We don't have sound, so I can't really show you too much. But basically, it's just like any other. We copied a general online learning model where you've got conceptual, and then you have procedural learning. Conceptual learning would be something where obviously they're going to lecture you. The instructor is going to lecture you on, in this case here, you see the footprinting. So in this, he talks about footprinting and what that is, and so on. And then he'll get into labs. Anywho is a tool. NSLOOKUP is a tool, and he'll physically show you from his computer via screen capture how to perform how to use those tools for footprinting. That's pretty much how the entire site is built. Although some other certifications like CISSP are much more numbing, and so they're just inherently term-based and so on.
Is all this content yours?
Yes, we
For
created
example,
all.
this one here, you created whatever this instruction is?
Yes,
Wow.
yes. Yeah. So we spent a lot of time developing classes, and we do. That's our product, right? Questions about that?
So if a school wants to implement Cybrary, what sort of systems do you have in place for a school to be able to do it?
Oh, sure. Well, if a school wanted to do that, we have a relatively small annual fee for them to use our platform that has reporting so that an administrator who was setting this up for a group of students could set it up. They could set out their profiles of learning on their own school's portal on our site. So the students go there. In fact, the guy who was in the previous discussion here, Capital Technology University is using that with a group of students right now, using our site for that. But their own portal, learning profiles, so like if you're in grade 10, these are the classes that we'd like you to cover on Cybrary this year, and then a reporting mechanism to basically show who has and who has not completed, who are the autodidacts and who are not.
So who are your biggest takers right now? Is it school systems or is it after-school organizations, community college? Who's your most active groups?
It's definitely on the college level, college and community college level. Now we're brand new, so we probably only have about 20 schools set up here.
You mean K through 12? You don't mean university, right? You have 20.
20, yeah. Probably 2 high schools, 1 elementary school.
Oh,
So at least we have some representation. That's good.
love it. So
And then the rest are colleges.
fantastic.
But that's not our primary source of revenue. It's a platform. It's relatively low maintenance, so it's a one-time setup. And here you go, school, it's yours. That kind of thing. We would rather just have people interacting on our site.
Right. You have a question?
Is it something that, like, if I didn't want to implement the whole platform, but they're little modules that I'd like it, can I just do that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you don't, and if you want to, yeah. I mean, you could do reporting on it, or you could just assign students to go register on Cybrary, do it, because you're going to get your lecture, you're going to be shown a tool, and then come back into the classroom and talk about it.
Yeah, I'm
That's
thinking like as a
completely free
flipped
to
classroom
use.
kind of thing, yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. There's good content there.
Awesome, thank you.
So what do you see as the best way to get the information out about Cybrary? Like what is the opportunity or the pathway that you think will pick up the most traction?
Well, how are we acquiring users, right?
Right.
Is the digital marketing. Cybersecurity training is a mature marketplace, so we use, and I don't want to give all of my secrets on
No,
this.
I'm just saying, okay, you're looking at
We
people
don't
who
have
have
any marketers.
access.
Yeah.
Okay, so what can we do to encourage youth to get into cybersecurity fields? And I bring this up because particularly when I have, like my niece, she's graduated in math and she's smart, and I said, you've really got to go into cybersecurity. They need good communicators, they need women, you're good at math. And she goes, what? Like, what is that? I mean, there's so many people, when I talk to them about cybersecurity fields, they have no clue. So my question is more global then, no trade secrets. What do you see as the greatest opportunities to start to social norm talking about cybersecurity like we used to talk about public health or nurses?
I would like to see this product be used in EDU the way that she mentioned. We're just, hey, I see that there's some, X and X and X topics covered on Cybrary, so I'd like you to go watch those, consume that content, and then let's talk about it in the classroom. Because there's no barrier to entry to this.
Right.
My hairstylist mentioned that, or Barbara, whatever, she mentioned that her youngest son, who is relatively not motivated for the most part, and he's a gamer, that kind of fits like the typical cybersecurity, I don't know, anywho, hacker, promo. He went and checked out Cybrary, and he graduated from high school. He went and checked out Cybrary, and he said, Mom, he's like, I still need to go to Howard Community College because, he's like, that's awesome, but I'm just not motivated enough to be there and to do that stuff on my own. And he was being honest, which I think is great. But so something like this couldn't possibly replace it. It needs to come from the educators. I think that it's just, you're going to have to put those kind of assignments in place. Saying cover this or you're toast.
Is cybersecurity, I know what I'm trying to ask, let me think. In order to get into this field, do they need a bachelor's degree in cybersecurity? Or, I know like A+ you can study on your own and then just go take the test. And I ask this because my son just completed a networking degree, which is only a 2-year degree, and now he's stopped. And now he's working at Quantico doing maintenance because it's a federal government job, and so I'm trying to push him in this direction, but do they need a bachelor's degree to go study?
Kathy, do you mind answering the question? The question is, and she's a good one to speak on this because she's been there, done that with all the above. Degree versus certifications, do you need one, the other? What does it take to get where, in
And
your
it's just
opinion?
like the job market at large, right? You're competing with other college graduates, so it's up to you. There are very, very smart people who have no degrees, that are very capable. They work for small companies, they start their own, they're successful. But, you know, like if you wanna get a government job, you probably want
Well,
a
see,
degree.
that's his problem, is he's landed a government job, but doing maintenance, but he has a networking degree. So,
So
I'm
it's
like,
on,
hello,
so
you need
my,
to keep
I-
pushing.
right, mentorship professional mentorship, there are professional organizations out there. He needs to start networking, show he's eager, show he's motivated. He needs to do things on his own, start a lab. He needs to be working on a lab because in an interview situation, that's what they're gonna wanna know.
Right.
So what have you done? So you're bored in your job, so what are you doing elsewhere? So it's self-motivation, and there are, in this area, hopefully you're local, in Washington.
We're in Virginia, but yes.
Okay.
And he works at Quantico, so it's not
The
like,
good news is there are
How many jobs are there at
tons
Quantico?
of security professionals out there, so
Right.
he just needs to know.
In my opinion, he'll probably have to start, and I called her out because she's in a cybersecurity leadership position in her career, and she's done both certification and degree, tracks. But your son is young, so I would say that he would probably need to start at the level where he's going to be getting his hands dirty. The degree will serve its purpose, I think, if he wants to work his way up to a leadership position. I think that's where it comes in most handy. But cybersecurity at its ground level is a trade. It's like plumbing or HVAC or contractor. You need to fix stuff when it breaks and break into things and so on. So perhaps to prove his mettle, he could go here, learn some stuff, and get a certification, and start at the ground floor, getting his hands dirty, and keep that degree moving forward as well.
right.
So it's
Yeah,
kind
but
of
he just
both.
stopped at the Cisco certifications, and then he's like, I'm done. No, you're not.
You're never
So,
done.
as mom, I'm trying to push him, but
Yeah.
now he's getting married, and so it's kind of like,
But yeah, to start out in the field, you don't need a degree by any means. I've seen
okay.
it. I was, like I said, I was part of the problem, charging $3,000 to $5,000 for a class, and I was part of that barrier to entry, and part of the reason that Maryland has 20,000 unfilled cybersecurity jobs, because, I worked for 12 years at a company that would charge $3,000. So, and I started out my early days there doing sales, and I'd sit down next to somebody who was clearly technical and talented and capable, who just couldn't come up with $3,000. And so, barrier to entry, that person has to go back to whatever job they're doing, and they're never going to get a start in cybersecurity. And then I saw a lot of people on the other side of that table who were clearly not technical, not cut out for this field, had the $3,000, came up with it somehow, loan or whatever, and paid, and quickly realized after taking a class that it wasn't for them. So this kind of eliminates that barrier to entry. But yeah, just back to that, cybersecurity doesn't require a degree. It's a trade.
We've seen two models around inspiring youth to understand about cybersecurity fields and what are opportunities. What do you see in the after-school or the community group organizations? What do you see as an opportunity to get that message into groups outside of ED?
Well, actually, and probably the same for you, there are groups that like to go in after school, whether it's a Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, there's organizations and bugs around here. There are Let's Go Boys and Girls, there are computer clubs, cyber competition clubs, both after school and weekend things. So they are always looking for resources, they're always looking for volunteer help, they're always looking for free types of tools that they can use. So that's where we get a lot of the traction too. Workforce development, people who are looking to retool themselves. They find themselves maybe in marketing and they really want to go into cybersecurity, or they're coming back from the war or from military service and they want to get into a different field. So they're always looking for different kinds of tools that will help them to do it. Ryan's tool here is a great one for that. Life Journey is another one too, because it offers an opportunity to look at different kinds of, you never know what you don't know, right? So if you ultimately, CSI Miami is a class of television program that a lot of people like watching. And you see the technicians in the white coats, but in the back room they're working computer screens that are virtual and up in the, like glass planes, and oh, you want to be like that. And so many students in high schools, I interface all the time with high schoolers. And so many kids in high school know that program or like programs like that. And, you know, when they say, well, wow, I want to be like that, and well, that is actually, one example is that a digital forensic analyst is that kind of a job. And when they understand that, wow, there's really a job out there like that does that, and I can learn and ultimately be motivated to take those courses. Teachers are also getting really into it as far as learning the different kinds of resources that like you guys and those guys and others have out there that are available to them for their disposal. A little challenging sometimes getting into school systems and getting into the approved software category for the schools. But when the teachers do see how easy it is to use to augment their own materials, that's a way to get traction.
How about the School Counselors Association? Has anybody seen School Counselors Associations pick up cybersecurity as a topic that they're familiar with?
I have.
You have, okay, good, tell us about it, because that's what we need to inspire a little
Oh,
more.
yeah, well, there's
Pollination.
the whole category. I mean, every school, whether they have a guidance counselor or guidance or a career guidance class, like in middle schools and high schools, this is very much becoming vogue these days. And these types of guidance counselors are always looking for these kinds of tools too. Again, to help their students see what opportunities are out there so they can guide their students toward those opportunities and more specifically toward the classes that are required to make that come real. But there are a number of guidance counseling types of organizations too that are in that category. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, just how do we see the people who are in the school system to put cybersecurity into their backpack of ideas that they're sharing with students? So I know at my house, the guidance counselor at our high school was really a terrific woman, and she had all sorts of ideas that my kids actually really liked, which is just so nice. If that, you know, it doesn't have to come from the parents. So I think helping the School Counselors Association have a better understanding, and the people who are doing guidance counseling in the education system, I think it's a sleeping giant, you know, a group of individuals who would be really happy to find out about a field that has 100% unemployment. I mean, you know, 100%. There's no
Openings.
unemployment. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There is plenty of jobs, and only more continuing. So some questions from the audience. Yes.
Well, I just want to make a comment on what you said, that how do we get this into the schools? First, there's only 10% of schools offer computer science. So there's not a lot of teachers out there. The gene pool is very small. So you know, to get it out on a broader scale is hard. And of those teachers, very few of them are actually schooled in cybersecurity to begin with themselves.
Oh yeah, I would say like.
I mean, they could barely, you know, a lot of them could barely code.
Right.
But one of the things that I do to help with the guidance counselors is that, like, my course is constantly changing as technology changes, I change it too. So once a year I go into the guidance department and I give a little presentation on what it is that I do in the classes, what they need to know about it, what are some colleges. Now, there's a great organization called CS for Counselors, I think. I'll have to get the name of it, but it's for guidance counselors. And I think it's from NCWIT, but I won't swear to that.
It's an NCWIT program.
It is an NCWIT program?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. But I gave it to them. I think they filed it in the circular file though. But that's out there for guidance counselors.
Okay, that's very helpful.
That's a great point, actually, that the teachers, here we are asking the students we want the students to get more into the cybersecurity, to fill these openings. We want them all to have good jobs when they graduate, right? And it really comes down to the teachers being capable of being able to communicate and effectively guide the students, whether it's a math teacher or a guidance counselor teacher. And that's a big challenge. An aspect of the one way of chipping away at that is that we did in Life Journey is we have what's called a cyber teacher journey. So understanding that a math teacher or even a technology teacher, which tends to be a very siloed kind of expertise, somebody somebody who knows firewalls and teaches Cisco firewalls maybe only knows that. They might not know robotics or basic programming and other things that are technology-like. So there's a cyber teacher journey that we have that are applicable only for the teachers, that allow the teachers to kind of bootstrap. We provide credit. It's an accredited type of course, and the teachers get certificate. So to leverage off of what Brian was saying, they get credit. They go through a course from CompTIA, which is the sponsor for A+, Security Plus, Ethical Hacking, and so on. So they actually take a course as a teacher, and at the end of that, they become a cyber teacher, which enables them to kind of expand their capabilities, and most importantly, their ability to communicate and effectively guide the students. So not only are they using the materials to augment their normal class materials, they're understanding them, and they can kind of extrapolate a little bit and go beyond what their normal material has because of their own expanded learning.
So it
That's a
gives them
great point.
vision. It gives them vision. So am I hearing then that these fields are only for computer science and computer science teachers? Are there cybersecurity careers for a wide range of interests?
I'm sorry.
So we have the
Well-
point where there's only 10% of schools that have computer science, and from that, there's a very narrow percentage of people who feel about or know about or.
Right, so I think part of, if you want to get more students knowledgeable about it, you have to get more teachers knowledgeable about it, so that they can then introduce, even if it's just an introduction to it.
Right.
They don't, a lot of them don't even know that it exists, so if it doesn't exist, then they can't go on with it,
They
so.
can't even think
Even
about
if
it.
you could give like a fundamental,
What's a computer
Background to-
port, what's an RS-232 or USB port, things of that nature.
right, just some fundamental things, principles about the internet, about how things work, and,
And that's exactly what that one CompTIA course, I don't see that up there, but there's a new one I think they've introduced called Fundamentals of Cyber.
Fundamentals or quantum?
Fundamentals of
Fundamentals.
Cyber, that CompTIA is now offering. And I love CompTIA. They have a wonderful, wonderful learning model. You probably know as well. And that's a new course that kind of goes alongside with A+ and Security Plus and so on. Fundamentals of Cyber. And we tie into that, a lot of the teachers, that's the one that the teachers takes, by the way. So that, just exactly what you just said, allows the teachers to kind of just become familiar with the basics and the foundation.
Yeah, that sounds very targeted to that. Yeah.
Well, you were saying,
So do you, Marcely, so do you have to
Marcely.
be a computer science person to go into this field? Or are there places
No.
for non-technical or non-computer science individuals in the cybersecurity field?
You might have heard me reference the term cyber without saying cybersecurity. And that's really a growing recognition now in a lot of our field that not everything is cybersecurity that is dealing with computers. It's stated the other way around. Computers are used in like every facet of today's field, from a point of sale operator in Walmart who's using various protocol and security procedures to safeguard your credit card, to, everybody uses cyber in their jobs these days. My daughter is a nurse, and she comes back and tells me all sorts of stuff that she's doing. And she's not a cybersecurity person, but I would say at least half of the items that both we and you offer for training purposes are related to that, general computer types of operation. So it's the cyber field, somebody else called it the cybersphere or cyber. We don't have a great name for it, so a lot of people are just saying it's cyber. Going into cyber allows you to do computing, allows you to do different kinds of daily operation and use of computers without it being cybersecurity.
Well, and so within cybersecurity's realm specifically, though, yeah, you definitely don't. There are lots of high-paying jobs that are cybersecurity specific that are for the non-technical. GRC, governance, risk, and compliance is huge in this area, in the DC area. Government contractors certain government contractors need to fall under like things like FISMA compliance, and so that's like managing risk and so on and so forth. And that's purely under cybersecurity, and you don't need to know how to, routing and switching, or don't need to know your way around too many things too technical to do that. It's taking cybersecurity, blending it with business, policy, practice,
Law.
strategy, Law, absolutely, yes, so that's, the GRC is under cybersecurity, so yeah, there's cybersecurity careers and jobs that pay great, that don't require you to be technical. Just asked one of my best buddies out of college, stumbled into a job and ended up getting his CISSP all these years later, and is doing quite fine for himself in cybersecurity. Doesn't have a technical bone in his body.
Okay, so there's a place for all of us in the
Yes.
cybersecurity and in the cyber world. So your product helps you create vision, and you can see yourself in some of those successful
Motivate the
careers,
students.
and yours provides actually detailed training. Does yours also do the detailed training?
We leverage tools like
Okay.
Ryan's, and I wrote a note here, we'll probably be talking, because we tie in some of the resources from him and others to
Great.
help, the students use them.
So we social norm and build vision with the first, and then we build skills that are measurable and work in the
I'll state.
in the employment field with your training. So, and they're both available to schools and open. Any more questions? Yes?
Just two things. The Pen Tester website, what was that website again that you mentioned?
Pen Tester Lab, or Pen Tester Labs, one of the two.
You gave 3. You want to repeat those?
Overthewire.org, cactussite.org, and pentesterlab.com.
Okay. And the other thing is there's another podcast that's called Security Weekly. The guys at paul.com.
Yeah,
It's an adult one. I would definitely
It is,
not
yes.
recommend that one for kids, but those guys are
They're good.
They're great.
It's
So,
called
SecurityWeekly.com.
Security Weekly,
Paul.com. Yeah.
but not for kids.
No.
Okay. Any other questions? It's encouraging. Thank you so much. It's really encouraging to see the support we have when we're working with youth or with adults who have influence on youth to inspire them with their future opportunities. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark.